Hi, everyone. Welcome to Date My Friends with me, your host, Taylor P. Miller, where every week I interview an amazing, single, eligible bachelor or bachelorette. And if you think they're cute or funny or interesting or intriguing in any way, you just click the link on our bio and you can ask them out, or you can DM me, or you can DM them directly. Just be ballsy. You know, we're here because we want to be asked out. And if you're just trying to meet someone and maybe this person isn't for you, come to our singles event that is once a month at the Old Fella Wilshire. We post the time, and it's always the same location, but we post the time all the time. It's all over the Instagram story. So today we have an amazing comedian. We actually have only had like one conversation ever, but I've seen him do stand-up multiple times and he's hilarious. Do you have a day job?
I do not have a day job.
Okay. Full-time comedian, the very funny Richard Sarvate or
Sarvate. Whichever sounds better.
Or Sarvate, depending on your mood. These
Totally
singles
fine.
parties, they are
Yeah.
wild. Are you going to come tomorrow?
I saw you have one. I kind of want to go, but I'm also like slightly intimidated, but
No,
like
don't
kind of
be
interested to go.
It's
Yeah.
just, we don't close down the bar or anything, so it's kind of just like being at a bar and you have
Yeah.
a wristband. Especially if you come with a friend. Like, I think Dave wanted to go, too. Like,
Oh
kind
yeah.
of-
If Dave's there, then we can ham it up. If you know.
Yeah, it's also like it's not. Actually, we should have this conversation on the podcast.
Okay.
Because that'll be a good. Oh, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, no, it's like easy to just come and. It's not like speed dating or anything. Like
Yeah.
it's literally just a bar, and if you're single, you have a green wristband. So there's not. You can't really get rejected because you're just.
Why?
Well, it's not like there's no like formal dating element to it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're
yeah.
just like at a bar, and I put out coloring and stuff on the table. So there's markers and pictures, and it's all dating themed pictures. And
Okay.
that's just for people that are nervous, because you can be like, my idea is that if you're nervous to go up and talk to someone that you're interested in, you can just be like, oh, hey, can I use that yellow marker? And then boom, you're in a conversation.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
last time we took over all these tables, so kind of everyone at the event is around the tables. So I think maybe there are micro ways that you could get rejected, but it's not like
Yeah. No, I'm totally
we're
fine
kind
with
of
that.
all
I'm
just like standing around a table and
yeah. No, I'm
drinking beers. Like it's pretty casual.
okay. Cool. No, I'm actually not afraid of rejection. It's just kind of funny, like when
Wow.
you go to a.
I am.
Yeah, I mean,
Yet
I think
I get rejected all the time, so it's exposure therapy going well.
As a comedian, I feel like, we get rejected, all the time. Like,
Yeah.
there's always someone in the audience who's like not into it or whatever. So it's like, I feel like I have a skin of steel. I
Yeah.
just think that sometimes at a singles event, it's just kind of funny because there's like a little bit of pressure. It's like, hey, we're single, so we're like, let's force a connection here. Like, you're single, I'm single,
I think that I totally agree. I've been to a lot of singles events, and I think that's part of the reason. I don't want to brag, but I think it's part of the reason that this singles event is better, because I've gone to a lot, and
Okay.
I've been like, okay, these are the things that I like, and these are the things that I don't like. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the less forced look. None of us want to be there. Like, no one's like, yay, I'm at a singles event, right?
No one wants to be here.
I've been to ones that are like, everyone has to wear white. It's a white party. And
Okay.
you have a bingo card, and you have to do these things. And it's like,
Actually, you know what?
we're already fucking forcing ourselves to be here. We're adults. We actually know how to speak to each other. Like,
You make a great point, though. Like, everybody's single. So it's not like anyone's out. It's not like anyone's weird because everybody's single.
exactly.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's
and it's
cool.
also just like, well, actually, not everybody's single because we don't close down the bar. So
But everyone who's part of the event.
everyone who's part of the event
Yeah,
is
yeah,
single.
yeah.
And also, it's just like the way I call it a singles party instead of a singles event, because
Yeah.
the vibe is very much like we're all just drinking at a bar.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think that makes it less intimidating when you think of it as, oh, I'm going to this. And it's also a really fun bar. It's Old Fella West. I don't know. Have you been to the one in Culver?
Well, yeah, the one I've
Next
been there.
to-
Yeah.
So
There's one in Brentwood.
So it's at the Brentwood one, and it's just like there's TVs everywhere, and there's music, and it's super vibey, and it's just like it's an Irish pub. And so how
It's
I
loose.
frame it when I pitch it to people is just like, you're going to a bar tonight,
Yeah.
but everyone at the bar is single. And like that's kind of awesome.
That's kind of what you want. It's, that's actually sounds better because a lot of times people have been doing like stand-up shows that are like singles mixers.
And they like pull them up on stage.
Yeah. It's super awkward. And it's also like...
It can be fun and shticky if you're into it. But if you're not into it, then it's like... It's hard. Super
hard. Yeah. I think, the problem with dating is that like any sort of pressure kind of just breaks it. So like people love organic connections. And so it's like any way you can kind of recreate an organic connection, like
I also think how old are you in your 30s?
I'm not in my 30s, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not going to say unfortunately. I'm not in my 30s.
How old are you?
I'm 40.
Oh, okay. Wow. I thought you were going to say I'm like 29.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay. Well, aging well.
Thank you.
No, I was going to say like, when you're 18 to 23, like you're going to bars and you're hitting on people, everyone's kind of single. Like at our age, not as many people are. So then you're going to bars and you're just being like, okay, he probably has a girlfriend and okay, is he with her? Like you're going like that. So I've just created an event that takes that out of it. It's just like, if they have a green wristband, they're single.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, my best friend and I always joke because I do this every month. And now we'll walk in, like we like to rock climb and we'll be like, okay, who's single? And we go, everywhere needs the wristband system. Like it shouldn't only be
that would be
you
so
should
great.
Walk into Equinox, green wristband if you're single.
100%.
Walk into Salt and Straw to get ice cream, green wristband if you're single.
That'd be perfect, especially like a concert or something like that.
Yes.
Oh my God, we're gonna see. We like the same music. You're single. Boom, let's go.
Like wristbands everywhere.
Dude, this should just
Mark
happen.
us.
Yeah, I mean, can't
it
Mark
should be put it on your tax forms.
100%. Yeah,
they already know if we're single.
They already
or not.
know my filing status. Yeah. Dude, can't Zuckerberg get on this already? Just have like a green thing, above your head if you're single.
Yeah. Okay. I see that in the future.
100%.
Okay. Well, this moment came to be because we hung out after a show. I told you about the singles event that we were just talking about that everyone should come to. That has actually been the most successful couple maker of this Date My Friends dynasty. I think that meeting in person has just, because that's
so
why I started
better.
This podcast. It was like, fuck the dating apps.
So yeah,
let's
fuck
meet
the
in person.
dating apps.
And so to go fuck the dating apps, click on this person and ask them out. Yes, it's still better than a dating app, but what's even better than that is coming to the bar.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think dating apps are pretty much done. You really want to meet in person. Like it feels better.
Yeah. I mean, there's pros and cons to different I've noticed I actually have been hanging out with someone that I met in person recently, and when he asked me out, I was so, like, we were talking about it last night, I was so surprised. I was like, I feel like because I online date so much, I'm almost in the zone of dating or I'm not in the zone.
Yeah.
And I think that online dating has made people approach people less in person because I'm like, oh, no, like for me, dating is while I'm watching TV on my couch, swiping on Hinge, and then I go on a date. That I almost forgot, like, oh, if I'm talking to a guy and we find each other attractive, like, we can go on it. Like,
that could be a date,
I was
too.
like, I didn't even, like, register. Like, when he asked me out, I'm like, oh,
you're like, what is
like,
this?
What? We met at a brewery.
What
like,
initiation sequence is
on?
this?
Yeah.
The date apps are just so bad because, like, I've had so many instances now where conversation's great, and then we get to the date, and I'm like, oh, this person, we don't vibe at all.
It can go either way.
Yeah.
I've had great banter and a terrible date, and I've had bad banter and a good date. And
yeah, it's
just not. Do you ever do a FaceTime or a call beforehand?
You know what? I try to always do that. For some reason, the last two women I met up with from dating apps, they didn't want to do a FaceTime.
No, a lot of people are averse to it.
Yeah, and I was like,
I
okay.
stopped asking because I lost dates because I just asked, and then they stopped. Like, I was like, hey, do you want to get on a FaceTime? It's like you go on a few really bad dates, and you're like, I'm sorry, I'm just like, I'm really busy. So for me to like drive somewhere and get ready and then have you be
totally
no on site, it's just like
it's so frustrating. Like the last girl, I invited her actually to a stand-up show, and I was like,
for our first date.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, we have lots of stuff to do, right? Like night times are not free. And so I was like,
That's
okay.
a bold move though.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, I just have to do it. And I was just like, okay, meet me at this show. And then we had zero chemistry. And I was like, I just want to talk to the comics. Yeah, I mean, I did. And she was like, great job. And I was like, okay, like, can you say
I've
something?
I've never done that for a first date.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
I don't even, I like to wait before guys see me do stand up, I think. I think it's probably different for men than women also, maybe. Maybe that's a stereotype.
Well, I mean, I just feel like she's going to see me do it eventually. So it's like, let's just see.
I think for me, there's a couple reasons. One reason is I met my first boyfriend. He was an audience member at a show, and that's how we met.
Nice.
And I did feel that part of what was the downfall of our relationship was he wanted me to be who I was on stage all the time. Oh. And that's not who I am all the time. It's when I'm on stage, I'm a very turned up version of myself. And there's a lot of me in my stage presence, but when you're dating me, I'm not always going to be making you laugh and be hilarious. Like, no. Sometimes I just want to lay next to you in silence, or sometimes I cry over for nothing, and I'm not that fun to be around, and whatever.
Me too. Yeah.
Aren't we all?
I would
say comics are probably the worst people to be around.
100%. I'm very serious off stage.
Than anyone.
Yeah. No, we're awful. I hate comics. Same. You're totally right. So like meeting someone after a show.
I don't like doing that for someone too soon, because I'm just like, it sets this precedent. Also, like, I think that to do that in front of someone at the beginning is like, you're going to find out so much about me, so much more than I know about you. It's almost like dating like a therapist. Like, I'm going to get up here and talk about my last relationship, talk about sleeping with other guys, talk about all these things. And then it's like, you know all these things about me. And then on top of that, it's only, what I say is only about 80% true. Yeah. So then it's like, not only do you know more about me than I know about you, 20% of what you know is false. So it's just like a weird dynamic to meet someone on. But if I'm already seeing them,
I mean, I totally feel you on that. The issue for me, though, is that like if I start dating someone and then there's like the big moment of they're going to come see me do stand up, the pressure of that, I feel like I don't even want to go through that. Like, I rather would have had the Band-Aid just ripped off in the beginning and like, yo, this is what I do. Because I mean, I've had it a couple times where like I've dated someone for like 6 months and then they're going to come see me do stand up for the first time, and it's like having your parents come watch you.
No,
you feel nervous.
People ask me if I get nervous before shows, and my answer is always only if someone I'm dating is in the audience that's never seen me do it before. That's the only time I get nervous, because it's just like
they're going to see this different version of you.
Yeah. What if it's cringe? It's such a turn off for me.
100%.
I actually just did 30 minutes in front of this guy that we'd been on 3 dates, and then he's like doing a project for work in Santa Barbara, and I had a show in Santa Barbara, and we were just like chatting, and I'm like, okay, come to my show. And it was like basically our 4th date.
Wow. And I mean, are you still seeing each other, or?
Well, he's still in Santa Barbara, but yeah, we're going to see each other next week. It went very well, but I've never been so nervous. It was also my first time headlining.
Nice.
And
congrats.
He was there, and it was just like, it was just so much stand-up to do in front of someone that, I mean, 30 minutes is long to do.
So long.
It's already a long time to be talking. And then you're like, okay, now someone that I've gone on 3 dates with is in the audience, and it's
no holds barred. You're saying everything.
Like, you're telling a lot of my jokes.
You're going super deep, and you're like being very like graphic and like descriptive. Yeah, it's super vulnerable.
Yeah, but no, on the way, like, I just kind of prepped him, and I think that's what you have to do, like, because we drove there together, and I was just like, so like, 80% of what I say is true. If anything I say makes you feel uncomfortable, please just ask me about it, because I would feel so bad if you're sitting there feeling uncomfortable over something that I completely made up.
Oh, 100%.
I'm like, he's thinking like, oh my God, she slept with, like, I have a joke about how many people I've slept with. It is so exaggerated. It's just like this funny character, because then I say that I'm a preschool teacher, and it's like a shock value thing. Yeah. And I'm like, I would hate to think that for a week you're like,
he's like
thinking about that, and I'm like, oh my God, I made that up. Like, he's like, I'm sorry to break the fourth wall if anyone thinks all of that is real.
I just love the idea of this guy being like, so that gangbang with the 7 guys you did, so was that like a regular thing, or?
Yeah, exactly.
How
much of your stand-up is true? Like, what percentage would you say?
You know what? I'm actually, my goal is to move towards 100% truth.
Okay.
And I would say right now I'm at like 90% truth.
Most of what I fudge is timelines.
Yeah,
so like, I'll be like, recently, and maybe that happened 5 years ago, but the story is completely true.
Yeah.
That's like the main, just because...
I go for like ethical truth. You know what I mean? Like if I'm saying something happened in 2012 as opposed to 2014, that's like a white lie that's not going to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
I just don't want to like play with your emotions.
Right.
In an untruthful way.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem like it's a range of how
you have to.
And then it's funny hanging out with comics because I'm like, oh yeah, this thing, and they're like, oh no.
Yeah. I mean, everything the big strokes are true. Like, I'm always surprised when someone thinks I'm lying about something. Like, for example, like I talk about, like, I bought 300 Bitcoins back when they were at $1. I don't have them anymore, but like, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't make any money, but I told a friend about this, and he was like, "Wow, I thought you were lying about that on stage." I was like, "Why would I lie about that?"
Yeah, I never like pull something out of thin air. Like,
exactly.
I never go in with no idea and write a full bit. Like it's always like it happened, and it's more like when it happened, or that's mostly, or I'll just exaggerate it because like the real thing that happened isn't that.
Yeah. The job is to make someone laugh. So it's like whatever you got to do to go up there, like making someone laugh is a difficult skill. Yeah. So we have to really, tweak the parts to make it go, So I don't blame a comedian for tweaking.
Yeah. How do you deal with when you're dating people, talking about them, just to bring it into dating?
Yeah.
Talking about them in your jokes, like, do you have a conversation with them before? Do you avoid that? What's it like to date a male comedian? I know what it's like for me, but I'm curious.
I mean, I think, my jokes are not like, they're all, I don't think that they're hurtful. I think they're all making fun of a situation. And, I think the biggest situation for me was, I talked about my dad a lot. And so I think when he saw my comedy for the first time, I think that was like a bigger thing for me. Cause I was like, Dad, I'm going to talk about our family life on stage. And my dad was really nice about it. He goes, I know what stand-up comedians do. He goes, don't worry about it. And I was like, whoa, okay. So, and do I talk about women that I'm dating? I do it. And I just kind of say, comedy is like, you have to talk about your life.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's part of this.
So I'm going to talk about you. I'm going to be respectful. I'm not going to say something that's just like egregious and talk about, like I said, like the mole on your inner thigh or something, like it'll be like something that really happened. And, that's going to be part of dating me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, what's your line with someone that you date?
I just check in with them. So I'll be like, again, nothing ever hurtful, but I'll be like, do you want to be anonymous? Like I had an ex that was, and I've said this on the podcast before, but he was like, you can talk about me, but can you pretend it's an ex? Just because then when we like go around and meet everyone after the show, I don't want them being like, oh, that was you or whatever, So he's like, just, if you're going to say a story, say it's a past guy that you were dating. And then I had one guy that was the audience member guy who was like, put me in all your jokes. Like I want to be the star of the show. Yeah. So every guy's different, but I try to make them feel comfortable. And this podcast has been more of a, not issue, but more of a thing that people are curious about if I'm going to talk about them.
Yeah. Cause this is even like,
this is a dating podcast. And
and this is
being
like,
on a Hinge date and being like, I have a dating podcast is a hard thing to just say,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
and
like,
there are follow-up questions. And like, I think I literally said to the last guy, like, I know it's maybe a bit of not a red flag, but it's something you have to accept about dating me, but I'm going to try and do it in the most respectful way possible. So if you feel like you want things about our relationship to be private, I will absolutely respect that.
I mean, I think we're living in a world now that doesn't have privacy.
Yeah.
So that changed recently, right? Like, I remember, like, do you remember like 10 years ago, people were freaking out because you could see the front of their house on Google Maps.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's my car in my driveway.
Yeah.
How is Google allowed to do this? And it's like, yo, if you think that's bad, wait till what happens 10 years from now where your phone is listening to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, to me now, I think my life is just completely public. Yeah. And I think we all just have to deal with, like, everything is being filmed all the time.
Yeah.
You cannot rob a store without there being a camera. You cannot drive through an intersection without a camera being on you. Yeah. Like,
that's how they caught Luigi.
100%. Yeah, he's just sitting at Starbucks, just smiling away, like great smile.
That was McDonald's.
Oh, McDonald's, that's right. Yeah. Sorry,
people left McDonald's bad Yelp reviews for turning him in.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I gotta get him on this podcast.
Yeah,
Could
Luigi.
you imagine the pull?
Oh my God, dude. The algorithm would love you.
Those clips.
Luigi, so, what kind of woman are you looking for?
Luigi, do you prefer Hinge or Bumble?
Yeah.
Wait, so tell us a little bit about your dating journey. Are you an app guy? You can answer that question any way you want. If you want to go back to your first relationship till now, or you can just kind of tell us what's been going on in the dating life of Richard.
My dating journey has been pretty interesting. A long time ago, when I was 22, I dated a girl for 4 years.
Okay.
And we lived together and everything. And
you did that young.
Yeah, super young. And honestly, looking back, she was perfect. Like, she was really pretty. She was really smart. She was like a really good person. She was like awesome. But I just wasn't ready. And also, like, comedians were like, we have shit going on that we got to work out.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for her.
You have shit to do also.
We got shit to do, yeah. And I just wasn't ready to be in a thing with her. And so we broke up. And then all these years later, I'm like, wonder if I can find a girl like her. Like, I'm just always looking for her. No, she found a guy within like 6 months, and they've been together now for like 10 years or however long it was since we broke up.
You snoozed and lost.
I snoozed. She was perfect. Like, so.
Shout out.
Shout out to my ex. She's perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's, so now, and then I've just been not single ever since, but like just dating like small relationships ever since then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you use the apps?
I have tried the apps. I really don't think the apps are a good place to meet people. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think I think there's something wrong with it just inherently, like the swiping. I just think the way you want to meet someone, you need a meet cute. You have to have a meet cute. Like that's
like someone reaching out from a podcast that you're a guest on.
Exactly.
That's a meet cute.
That's a super cute. That's something you can tell to your grandkids.
Yeah.
All I want is
that's actually is a sick story.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I want like. I think everybody kind of wants that, it's like a lot of people meet like abroad, like, oh, I was traveling in Italy and, we were staying at the same hostel and stuff like that. You just need something that happens in life.
I do think the apps can have some benefit in that you meet people out of your circle. And I think like dating in your group of friends can be a little messy, or just you meet people that you wouldn't get to meet on the apps. I think the apps are tough, but I also think that they provide that, which is nice. Like you're just kind of meeting all different types of people.
So the problem is that dating on an app is a skill.
Yeah.
Like, and you have to lead with things. Some people are just better at the skill of apps.
Well, there are literal skills, like if you X out your roses every day, if you, if you refresh it once a month. Do you have like green flags that you're looking for in a woman?
Green flags.
Your ex.
Yeah, she's got to look exactly like my ex.
Be like your ex. I have a theory that men never get over their exes in a way that women do.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think I'll be on my deathbed.
Way harder than women do.
Oh my God, dude. Like, I feel like I have so many chinks in my armor. Like, it's like, oh, and her. Sometimes I look through my phone at all the girls I've dated. And I'm like, oh, she was nice.
Yeah, and I'm like, fuck him.
Different chinks in your armor.
I saw him.
Yeah. I feel like, let me think, a green flag. I'm not trying to think, like, what would it be? Like a girl that likes animals, I think is really attractive.
Okay. All animals or dogs?
Dogs is like a type, but like, I think that's like the main animal that a woman will love. But like, I think I'm looking for like a nurturing kind of woman. Okay. So I think that's a woman that likes just animals in general.
That's good to know. A lot of preschool teachers listen to this podcast.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah. Oh yeah, women who work with kids. Oh, bomb, perfect. Someone that like cares about something else, I think is like very attractive.
What are your parents still married?
They are.
Wow. You said so much in that pause.
My parents have passed away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but they are married.
Sorry for not doing more research.
That's okay.
That question.
That's okay.
I was expecting you to be like, they are, but they hate each other.
Yeah, they do hate each other, but they don't hate each other anymore because they're dead.
That was just like perfect timing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm very sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, it's not a huge thing.
That was all kind of to go in the direction of, do you feel like you grew up witnessing like, a relationship that you kind of aspire to be like? Because I know,
No.
you know, culturally, like, must have been
Yeah.
your first generation, right?
Yeah, I was born here. They were born in India.
Okay. So, I mean, what's that like? Because I'm sure dating here is just so different. I mean, it's
Super different. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to model their relationship. I don't think they had a healthy relationship. Theirs is just, yeah, it was just not arranged marriage, but like arranged dating. Like
Okay.
I think they saw each other twice before getting married.
okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And, but you know what? Honestly, there is something to an arranged marriage.
I know.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I'm like, I think the Indians are doing it right.
I think it totally
And
works.
everyone, they're all still married too.
Yeah, they stay married and like they work their problems out. Like, you know, you just don't get divorced. If you don't like the person, you just figure it out. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, they have this quality that I
That's
like.
the part that sounds hard about it.
Yeah.
I definitely want an out option.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think every single person I've dated, like, there was definitely something weird about them, and I think I had the option to break up, and so I just did. Yeah. Like, there was one girl, she was awesome, really awesome. A couple things annoyed me. One, she was addicted to cigarettes. Two,
That one is tough. Like that is something that is a big part of your life if you're dating them. The smell, the going outside all the time. Like,
yeah.
that's not small.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But she was, you know, she was awesome. So I kind of feel like maybe I should have looked past that, you know?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes like, and I think we do break up with people for a little bit, for not enough. Like one girl, I just couldn't, it really bothered me. She would go into long diatribes where she would just talk in an English accent and I could not stand it.
Like that was like her bit.
That was her bit. Yeah. And I'd be like, she'd just be in English accent mode for like an hour. And I'd be like, I can't do this right now. But she was awesome, you know?
Did you tell her or did you just break up with her?
Yeah, I didn't tell her.
Okay, that's kind of on you.
That's on me. How do you bring that up to someone? Just like, hey,
Be like, hey, like I'm not into this bit.
you know what? I think you're right.
I do that to guys, and I don't know that. I said something to a guy last night. I was like, hey, that thing, don't do that. I don't like it.
That's actually really good. You know what?
So that's a good hot take that we break up with people for not enough. My mom says that all the time.
Yeah.
She's like, people your age, you guys just don't try. And I'm
You
like,
don't try, yeah.
Yeah, we don't. But it's also like, because we watched you guys try to make things work, that maybe you didn't have to keep doing that. Maybe you could have had a much, not my parents specifically. I think they have a very happy marriage.
Really?
But
That's actually great.
yeah, I'm very lucky. It almost is like this standard that I'm like, it's like, whoa, that's like going to be so hard to find
you got
for
to match
myself.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I have such a good example that I'm just like, if
sorry.
it's not that.
That's like being Bob Dylan's son, you know? You're like, how do I live up to this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great, but I think a lot of people their age are just kind of, yes, my mom is right. Millennials don't try hard enough to make relationships work.
They don't try.
You know, their generation, if the guy got a job, the woman moved to wherever that job was.
Yeah.
We break up for distance all the time. I would say that's probably the most common reason people tell me that they broke up is distance.
Yeah.
And my mom thinks that that's the weirdest thing. She's like, we all just moved. And I'm like, no, the women moved.
Right, yeah.
You know? And so that's what changed.
Or I think like whoever makes more money, right? The other
Right.
person has to go
Yeah.
to that place.
Yeah, totally. But the flip side of that is like, yes, we don't try, but I think they try too hard. And I think that a lot of people like are getting divorced in their 60s, and it's like, you could have had 10 great more years before that, you know.
Oh, yeah. That's a little
Like
interesting,
a lot of,
yeah.
there's a second wave of people's parents getting divorced right now. Because I feel like all my friends' parents got divorced in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a drop. Like, I feel like in high school, it was like, you know, like middle school was like divorce season. Like, I feel like a lot of speaking from my friend group specifically, like that's when people's parents were getting divorced. And then there was a little bit of a lull. Like no one got divorced in college. I don't think I heard, no one was telling me their parents were getting divorced.
Yeah.
And now I have friends that parents are getting divorced right now, like a lot.
So, I mean, what's the idea there? You're like, okay, the kids are out, they're grown up, they have their own lives. I don't like this person. I'm just going to see what else is out there.
Yeah.
You know, I guess that is cool. Like, I mean, you're 60 and you're like, people are healthy now at 60. So you can have kind of an active life till you're like 75.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. Why not?
I'm going to do an episode of the show. My dad wants me to do an episode called Date My Dad's Friends, and it's going to be all of his divorced friends on Zoom.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I wonder what it's going to be like.
Could be creepy.
Could be creepy. Yeah, I've been watching like some of the reality dating shows with older people. And
what's it called? Golden Bachelor?
I didn't watch Golden Bachelor. I need to watch that. Was it good?
One?
Yeah, there was some. There was one recently. I forget what it was, but yeah, it's just people that are like in their 70s, and she's like matchmaking them. It's just kind of funny. These people have all the same problems that we do at our age. Yeah, it's like
I know they're ghosting.
Yeah, totally. They're ghosting. One woman, she was just like, she wouldn't ask the guy any questions. She just like talked the entire time, and at the end, the guy was like, he's like, I didn't get to know you, and then she just goes on another rant. And it's like, oh, okay. So people never figure this out sometimes.
Yeah, people don't grow up. They just get older.
Yeah, it's very easy to stay stagnant. I think so. Now, the reason I feel like I'm ready now, because it took me, I dated my first girl.
Something serious now.
I'm ready, like no more seeing what's out there. Okay.
I know what's out there.
I know what's out there. I've looked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like, let's get on with it. Like, I'm ready for a new phase of life. I don't need to be it's just a little weird to be like, not old, but like just like playing the field when you're like getting older.
It is weird to me when someone over 35 is like, I don't know what I'm looking for. Because I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like.
yeah. You got
I'm just like, like. Really, like now you still like.
Yeah, what you been doing for the last 15 years?
You haven't made any decisions.
Yeah, all this. Yeah, like, you have data, right? Yeah. Like
you haven't like met people and been like, I don't like that. Maybe I would like this.
Yeah.
Sometime in the last 35 years, you haven't made choices.
Like, I know, it's weird. Yeah, that's
preferences. You don't have goals.
So weird. Yeah. That's like a person that doesn't introspect. You know what I mean? Like you have to. We're in a time now where you have to really look inward and figure out who you are. You got to read some Power of Now. You got to like. If you don't figure out who you want, then it'll never.
Someone knowing who they are is my green flag. That's what I want the most. I really can't handle being around. I don't even really like when my friends are like, insecure isn't the right word because everyone has insecurities. Mm-hmm. But like, I just think it's so cool when someone is themselves. It's so cool to be around a person that is just like, this is who I am. I'd rather be around a person who is themselves and has certain elements that I can't stand.
Yeah.
Than someone who is what you want them to be or
I think that's exactly the struggle that I went through most of my life, because in college I hung out with like all these guys that were basically like bros or like fratty kind of guys.
They're chameleons. Like.
Yeah. And I'm not like that at all. Like I'm like an artsy guy, and I was hanging out with this wrong crew. So I think that set me on the wrong path. And then doing stand up and like meeting, basically the freaks and the geeks, like I kind of was like, oh, okay, I see who I am.
Yeah.
It's just been such a long evolution. And now I'm just like, I'm pretty confident and I'm just weird, and I like that,
Yeah. No, I'd rather have a confidently weird person than a very normal sort of no personality person. And I think people who are normal, and I don't think that exists, but people who are normal are sort of not showing a personality and they're mirroring whoever they're around.
It's creepy. It almost feels like some sort of alien or something.
Yeah, I don't think I could date like a normie.
Yeah, it's really weird to me too, because and as comedians, it's very hard for us because I think we like really think deeply about things. So when you meet normies, it's like a lot of people are not like evolved in what they think, or they'll take a hard stance on something. They're not open to like having their mind changed.
Yeah,
and that's just like you can't deal with it. You call them like NPCs. You know what I mean?
Normal people.
An NPC is a non-player character, so it's like someone who's just like
like the bots.
Yeah, they're like a bot basically. Yeah.
NPCs, that's good.
Yeah. A lot of people you meet are bots basically, and it's like it's so weird when you meet a bot. You're like, okay, well, I know how this conversation is gonna go.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, especially like in my hometown. Like, that's where it's just like, what's it called? Like mob mentality almost. Like,
yeah, exactly.
We have one personality. This group of friends, this is our personality.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to one of us, you talk to all of us.
100%. And it's so creepy when you pin somebody right as soon as you talk to them, because it's almost like they don't exist.
Yeah.
you know, or it's like you're talking to like the wall or something.
Yeah, or they're just agreeing with you because they're scared to say anything that might
be off color or, you know, stuff like that is.
Yeah. Do you have any deal breakers?
Deal breakers?
Speaking in a British accent for an hour at a
yeah,
time.
if you speak in a British accent for, 40 minutes is fine.
What about a British person?
No, that you know what? I really don't like the Australian accent.
Really? Because you can't understand it, or you think it's like drunk and gross?
I think it's really weird. I think it's like
he's racist to Australians.
Just someone's like, "Hey there, you want to take a walk on the beach?" It's just like I just can't.
It's too cartoonish.
It's like, cartoony. Yeah.
Imagine like fighting with them. I
know, yeah. I'm not going to be able to take him seriously. It's like, Richard, I feel like you've been dismissive lately. It's like, yeah, I just can't stand being in the room with you.
Okay, but British fine or no?
A British person would be totally fine. I think
as long as they don't speak in an American accent for 30 minutes at a time.
Exactly. If they're like, Richard, let's go surfing, you know, I'm going to be like,
especially it sounds like all weird in like Texas.
Yeah.
If you ever ask a British person to do an American accent, they go Texas.
Oh my God, it's so annoying. Yeah,
that's what the rest of the world thinks we all sound like.
That's what they think we sound like. Yeah, it's like, you know, I have a very California accent, so it's like.
Where are you from?
I'm from the Bay Area, San Francisco area. Yeah, but it's like.
I hear the vocal fry.
Yeah, I have a lot of vocal fry, big time. Yeah, I don't mind someone making fun of my voice at all. It's just I can't be with an Australian person. It's like that's just grating.
Okay, for all of my Australian listeners, do not ask Richard out.
Listen, dude, I kid the Australians. You guys have great coffee. And
great beaches. I've never been, but I hear.
You know what? So okay, I went to Australia over Christmas, and it is a paradise.
Really?
Every single thing is perfect except for the accent. It's perfect.
Such a funny thing. Okay, have you ever dated an Indian woman?
I have, yes. Yeah.
Is it pro or a con or both?
You know, Indian women are very sweet. Like if they're from India, they're super nurturing. There's something about an Indian woman where it's like when you're like a woman who asks you if you ate today. Oh my God! It's like you
Jews
melt.
Are the same way. Yeah.
That's great. Like the minute a woman's like,
all immigrant families have the feeding food love language.
Oh my God, that's so awesome! I just love that. Like, so what'd you eat? And like you're interested in what I ate? Like I don't know. I had a pizza, and like you know what? We should cook you something. With that's more nutritious. I'm like, okay, yeah.
That's so cute.
I love it.
Do you find that do you like having that cultural similarity, or is it just like not really a preference for you? Like could go either way.
It is interesting. I do like it. It feels so different. Like an Indian woman compared to any other race feels very different. There is like a tiny like familial thing, which
that's how I feel when I date another Jewish person. It's like they feel like home in a way.
They feel like home. Yeah. It's like it's not incest, but it's like it's comfortable.
Yeah, and you meet their family, and you're like just know how to talk to them immediately because it's similar to talking to your family.
Exactly. Like so, in your dating history, is it how many? What's the Jewish percentage?
So I've only had 2 like serious boyfriends, and one of them was Jewish and one of them wasn't.
Okay.
But that felt like such a big difference. Like and that actually kickstarted the Jewish only phase for a while because it was like I felt that when I met the Jewish guy, I was like, oh, this is what was missing in my last relationship, like this family feel and the vibe when I'm around his family and the shorthand and the lingo and all that. And then I was like, oh, I think I really like this. And then I started dating only Jews for maybe, if I met someone in person, no, but like on the apps, I think, because you can see that.
Yeah.
But then after a while I was like, no, there's so many cool people. And I think that I went to a few, everyone I grew up with was both people were Jewish in every couple. It was not taboo, but very uncommon for people to marry outside their faith. And then I think that the last few years, I know so many people who are doing it and it's fine and they're making it work. And I went to like 3 weddings last year that were all like, one of them was Jewish and one of them wasn't. And I'm like, they're so happy. Like, what am I doing? Like, it just kind of felt like, you know what? I'm going to just open myself up because Yes, and I do like that culture thing. It does feel special when you have it.
It feels good, yeah.
It feels good, but I don't think that I need it.
You know, it can be recreated. Like you can feel like somebody is home without them being with your same faith and same culture, but you do have to recreate it intentionally.
Yeah.
I just feel like
and you do code switch with the families a little bit.
Yeah. How do you code switch? Like what would you say to a Jewish parent that you wouldn't say to a...
I just feel like if I'm dating a Jewish guy, like I am literally after 5 minutes in their house, like getting my own water from the cabinet.
Okay, yeah.
You know, opening their fridge, because they'd do the same thing in my house. Like I felt like with my ex, it was literally just like hugging, like talking to his mom on the phone, calling her. Like, you know, all the foods are the same, and it just felt like literally I when I met his mom, and this is the first time I ever met a parent, I was dealing with a skin issue. Like I was taking a medicine and having a side effect, and we were on vacation with her, and I like never get acne, and I had a full breakout as a side effect to one of my meds, and it was the first time I met her, and she was like, I have 3 creams in my purse, like which one do you want? Which is just like such a Jewish thing to do.
Oh man.
And she's just like, oh yeah, like do you want cortisone 1%? Do you want cortisone? And this was our first conversation that we had, and I was just like, I'm home. Like this feels so familiar to me.
That's such a green flag if a woman has like a bunch of like medicine in her purse.
Yes.
Like if I'm like, man,
we were just like sharing ointments for the rest of the weekend. I'm like, yeah, I fit in with this family. Like,
yeah, that feels great.
I also have ointments in my purse.
Yeah, like I was driving and like that. I love an ointment. Like if I was like, oh, my eyes are dry, and this girl was like, oh, I have some eye drops, and something about that was just like, oh my God, like you feel like you're being taken care of.
Yeah.
Medicine.
Meanwhile, I was hanging out with like a waspy friend recently on her boat, and it's like, do you have sunscreen? They're like, I'm like, that's so...
Dude, a wasp better have sunscreen.
I'm like, the Jews are like, what kind? Face? Body,
yeah. What
30,
SPF?
30 SPF, 40 SPF, like...
Yeah.
Zinc, mineral.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Have you ever had someone take care of you while you're sick, and then you fall in love with that person?
Well, I'm a preschool teacher, so I think I'm the
okay.
I'm like that for all the kids in a non-platonic way, obviously. But I think like that is my whole job, is just being like, oh
my God.
The amount of times today alone, I was like, oh, you fell down. Come here.
Oh.
Okay, you ready to play again? Like that's me all day, every day.
I fell in love with my teachers a bunch of times. Every single year, it's like a new woman.
It's definitely a category, you know?
Oh my God, yeah. Like I still think about my 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Bryant. Like she was so sweet.
I think everyone has that.
Yeah.
Everyone has that teacher that they're just in love with.
Oh my God. My 3rd grade teacher, she was taking dance classes, and I don't know if this is even allowed. She's like, guys, I'm taking ballet, and she's like, these are the moves we learned in class today. And she would just like demonstrate her moves. And I was like, oh my God. Like,
you know what is so funny though? I feel like there is this like category of teacher, you know, like porn category, sexual category.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's just so the opposite. It's like the most unsexy job ever. Like it's so funny to me that guys will be like, it's so hot that you're a teacher. And then I come home from school like covered in boogers.
Yeah.
Pink eye. And I'm just like, yeah, it's so hot. Like,
kid
threw up on me today. So hot.
Right. That's not exactly what you're imagining.
I think it's the high school teachers that are seen as hot, maybe.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, a woman telling you about history or something. Oh my God. Or like teaching.
When you're like getting boners that you can't control because you're going through puberty and you're just like confused all the time.
Oh my God. I had the hottest sex ed teacher. I was like, this is
that's
allowed.
Not fair.
It's
supposed to be like the fat gym teacher.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Isn't
I was
that
like,
what it is?
It
That's
should
what
be.
mine was.
It should be, but for some
Beer
reason.
belly.
Yeah, beer belly, can't see his own dick. And he's like, yeah.
You should never have a hot person teaching sex ed.
It was crazy. I mean, I was like, I don't know why this is even happening right now.
But maybe you do need to find a teacher, and this podcast could be good because we do have a lot of teacher listeners.
I just think that a person who teaches someone else, the best people in life are the people that care about other people or care about something outside of themselves. And so I just think like being a teacher is one way to do that.
Yes. Or a dog lover. What else can you, or like someone who does a lot of charity, like you care about other people. A social worker.
Oh my God. These are selfless people.
What about a therapist? They can be a little crazy.
Therapists are a little weird. Sometimes, because because a lot of therapists are, I don't know. A lot of them are trying to make money. Like a lot of them just charge people $200 an hour, you know?
I don't think a lot of them are trying to make money, but I do think they can be a little wacky or like,
yeah,
you know, they became a therapist because they're a little wacky and they wanted to understand themselves better. And
yeah.
I know I've met some interesting therapists or therapists' children who are very interesting.
Yeah. No, that does make sense. I think, you know, but that's somebody like, okay, everybody starts off a little, like a therapist is a wacky person. A comedian is a wacky person.
Everyone's wacky.
Yeah. So it's like, I think it's just, has the person taken the journey? Like you probably don't want to date me from 10 years ago. You probably do want to date me right now because I've taken the journey. Yeah. You know, someone who's just a therapist because they're interested in the crazy workings of their mind. Yeah. Wait till that person's like a little bit further along.
Yeah. Okay, so if you think about people other than yourself, you know, social worker, teacher, philanthropist.
Philanthropist, yeah. When was the last time you went to Goodwill?
Put that in the description. to donate, not to buy, right?
To donate,
yes.
Yeah. right.
Then click on Richard. And I think that's our show. That's our show.
Do we high five at the end of the show?
I do that. Do you have anything you want to plug? You want to give your Instagram or where they can see you or?
Yeah, if you're interested in my stand up so you don't get blindsided, you know, I'm Richard the Comedian on Instagram.
Hilarious guy.
Oh, thank you, Taylor.